Hey everybody, it's Diana. I'm back from my YouTube hiatus and I'm making a card today for my entry for Lawn Fawn's challenge blog. It's a 3D card challenge, which is super awesome because I'm a pop-up card lady. So today I'm using my favorite Lawn Fawn set. It's Mermaid for You, and I'm just stamping out the sitting mermaid in the noir with Lawn Fawn Jet Black ink. It's a great ink that's Copic friendly. For the mermaid hair, I use Copic's R37, R29, and R35. And honestly, I don't really do anything special for coloring. I just start with the dark color and blend out. For the skin, I use E95 and YR00. The bra, I use V17, V15, and V12. And for the mermaid tail, I use G07, G05, and G02. I know I'm saying a lot because I'm like listing all these colors, but if you want a full list of colors, you can check out my corresponding blog post linked below. The narwhal, I'm using C5 and C3, and then I dot the back with my white Sakura jelly roll pen. And then for the horn, I use W3 and W2. I'm cutting the images out with their coordinating dies, and since I had my cuddle bug out, I did the rest of my die cutting. So I die cut Lawn Fawn's Ocean Hillside pop-up add-on and Stitch Hillside borders. I'm using the hillsides as ocean waves for a bit of a variation to my card, and I'm ink blending them with some Distress Oxide inks. I'm just showing how I ink blend one of them because I do the rest in the same way. So I start off with peacock feathers on the top half, and then I go in with Lucky Clover on the bottom. I grab my broken china and blend the top half, and then go in with faded jeans over the entire panel. I did vary the amount of blue I put in the other two panels so they didn't all look the same. So I'm using a die from Lawn Fawn Slide On Over, and I'm cutting a sliding channel into one of my panels. I'm gluing the mermaid to the narwhal to make it look like she's riding it, and then I'm taking the panel with the sliding channel and I'm rubbing the inside of the channel with an old birthday candle so it slides better. I grabbed a penny and a thin double layer piece of 3M foam tape and I adhered them together. I position it in the slider channel and I adhere the narwhal to it. I should mention that I'm not going to be showing you guys how I assemble the box card base. If you're new to Lawn Fawn Scallop box pop-up die, you should check out my tutorial on how to assemble it in the top right corner. For this card, I have 4 slats in my box to start. I cut 2 little tabs out of scrap cardstock and I'm gluing them to the back of my panel, and this is how I'm going to adhere it into my card base. I do use Scotch tape to adhere it into my card, and in this video clip I'm adhering it to my 3rd slat, but I later realized it would look better on my 2nd slat, so I did move it. I realized I forgot to make a background, so I'm kind of jumping around. This piece of white cardstock is cut to 2 7/8 by 3 3/4, and I did cut 2 pieces because I'll be using one for the back of the card as a writing space. So I'm doing more ink blending to make a sunset scene for my background, and I'm using Distress Oxide inks Squeezed Lemonade, Fossilized Amber, Carved Pumpkin, and Candied Apple. And I really didn't need to ink blend the whole panel. The top half only really shows anyways, but I was just kind of into it, and the Distress Oxide inks honestly just blend like butter. So I glue my background in place and then I start attaching the rest of my waves by either gluing them directly to the slat or using the tab method I used earlier. Then I jumped to the outside of my card and I just cut a strip of rainbow pattern paper from Lawn Fawn's Perfectly Plaid Rainbow Paper Pack, which I forgot to turn my camera on for, but if anybody really wants to know, it's a 1 1/4 inch strip. Next for my sentiment, I'm using Have a Magical Day from Lawn Fawn's Fairy Friends stamp set. I just cut a strip of white cardstock and I'm heat embossing with Recollections Gold Tinsel Embossing Powder. Then I'll cut 2 thin strips from the same pattern paper I use for my outside of my card, and I'm just adhering them to my sentiment strip and then onto my front flap. Decided for the back of my card I would add a different mermaid from the same stamp set, and it's colored in the same way. The more I looked at the inside of my card, the more I felt like it needed one more wave, so I cut another one out, ink blended it to match, and then stuck it in the inside of my card. And then to finish up my card, I just added some shimmer to the mermaid fins with my Spectrum Noir clear overlay brush pen, and then I'll call this card done. If you guys like this card and you want to see more like it, please thumbs up and subscribe to let me know. I have the card challenge linked below if anybody else is interested. Thanks so much for watching!